Hey everyone, welcome to The Alternates. It's a basketball show for the others where we like to showcase independent music and discuss all things basketball. Speaking of discussing all things basketball, today we are going to be checking out the headliners, poking our heads into the underground network. We will be relegating and promoting teams in Out of Step.
Yep.
And of course, it's Tuesday, which can only mean one thing. It's time for Duo Jam.
Yes.
All that basketball discussion and more coming up right after we showcase some independent music. What do we got?
That's right. The band here is the Uranium Club, but they also go by the Minneapolis Uranium Club Band.
Okay.
The song is Definitely Infrared Radiation Sickness off the Cosmo Cleaners LP on Fashionable Idiots Records.
You know, I heard that they were originally going to call themselves the Minneapolis Nice, but then after a fan vote, they decided to go with the name Uranium Club.
Yeah, that's right.
All right, we'll be right back.
So how about torture without the shame? Separation anxiety, losing game. Don't be scared, you're young and innocent. Promote longevity and clean yourself. Just feel on nature. Your nose is clean. It's not like torture. It's not obscene. You're not young. You're not innocent. It's real love. Undo yourself. And tears spill on the concrete. But concrete has no feeling. It's an abject of loud. And it's the last to know.
What is up, y'all? Welcome to the show. Let me just start by saying a happy belated Valentine's Day to all the lovers out there. I hope everybody had a very love-filled Valentine's Day. It is February 15th, 2022. We are The Alternates. Of course, I am your host, Brian Cullen, and with me is everyone's favorite Valentine's easy lover, Clayton Stevens.
Hello, hello.
Before we jump into our first segment, just want to take a quick second, ask you if you have not done so already to subscribe to the channel on YouTube. If you are not catching us on YouTube and you're listening to us as a podcast, wherever that is, go ahead and hit subscribe so you can stay all up to date with all of the freshest coming out of the alts. And if there is a rating and review option on that preferred podcast platform of yours, hit us with that as well. I will read it on the show. Leave something wild and I'll read it on the show.
He will. He's not afraid.
I'm a brave person. And then if you are, of course, catching us on YouTube, I would say they say smash that like button on the video.
You can just tap it, though. It's okay. You don't have to.
I was going to go more violent and say just decimate that like button.
Shit. Okay, yeah.
Put a hole through the mouse.
Yeah.
Ruin your trackpad.
Yeah,
Just
whatever.
like that video harder than you've liked any video ever.
Yeah.
And if you want to get a hold of us, you can contact us by emailing thealternateshoop@gmail.com. You can follow us on TikTok, where Clayton will be dancing to the latest and greatest songs on TikTok.
That's right.
Yeah, you just found out about that right now, but it'll be happening. And that is at the Alternates NBA. Or you can reach us by just dropping a comment in the comment section on the video below, like our guy Kim G Guy K did right here. Said, nice video with a thumbs up. Very
thanks.
sweet. You know what, Kim G Guy K? Nice comment. I appreciate it.
A nice and fermented comment, if you will.
Yeah, I will. Oh,
Yeah,
I definitely
I
will.
Yeah.
Clayton, how are you? How was your weekend?
I'm great. Super fun weekend. Obviously, there was a pretty big football game on this
big
weekend.
game.
Yeah, the big game was on. I watched it. I enjoyed it. Our hometown team won. That was really fun. Really happy for the city of LA. Did you watch the game?
I did. I got to say, maybe your hometown team won. I still very much recognize Los Angeles as a Raiders city.
Yeah. But you know what? 6 years in, 2 trips to the Super Bowl, 1 win. Nice start here for the LA Rams.
Fair enough. I can't even call myself a casual NFL fan. I'm like less than casual. I'm a Clamato fan, if
Yeah,
you will. I watched it though. It's in LA. It was an LA team. I had to check it out. And they won, which was cool. My neighborhood went absolutely bananas when it happened. They went so bananas that the power went out within 5 minutes of the game ending.
Yeah.
Which was a good time, but yeah, I enjoyed it. It was fun. A little questionable at the end there. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, being such a lowly, not even observer of the game. But
Yeah.
I just have this thing. So I'm already a baby. I'm already super. Anything can make me cry. And watching championship games in any sport, when you see the athletes win and cry and realize that they have actualized this dream and goal that they've set out for themselves, it gets me, man. Like last year during the finals, I cried like a baby when they showed Giannis on the bench in tears. It gets me every time.
Yeah, and in the game, we had that moment, right? Which
Yes.
was Aaron Donald gets the sack on 4-1 to seal the game for the Rams. He's had a Hall of Fame career. The last thing he was missing is that ring, and he literally gets the play to seal it. You can't ask for something better than that. That's as good as sports gets.
Yeah, that is what we are watching for, is those moments.
Those moments that are made from all these circumstances, everything that's led up to it.
Absolutely.
And he comes through in the biggest moment.
Yeah, and if you're not watching for that, you're watching for the halftime show where people of our generation get to feel really old.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was fun to see something that was pandered to our generation. I guess that's the age that we're at now.
They were just doing their analytics. They were like, who was watching this?
Yeah, no, it's fair. But, a lot of these artists should have been on like 20 years ago, and it would have been even better. But it was still great to see like a lot of stuff that I think you and I both agree is really good. So,
Fair enough.
Great show.
Great show. Speaking of great shows, let's kick off this great show. Let's get into headliners.
Let's do it.
So I got some headlines here. Throw them your way. We'll get some quick takes on it.
Cool.
Not the greatest news headliners bit that we've done, but here we go. So we're going to start in Milwaukee, where the Bucks' Pat Connaughton is undergoing surgery to repair a broken hand. Is this huge? Is this like a big hit for the Bucks?
I wouldn't go quite huge, but I would say big hit for the Bucks here. Bigger hit because they also just traded Dante DiVincenzo, who's the second best wing on the team, was the second best wing on the team. Connaughton is a great shooter and adds a level of like athleticism to their team that I think is really important. That balances their whole team out. With the timeline, it's possible he could come back. They also just traded Rodney Hood, who might have been a decent option there, right? So it's just unfortunate timing for them.
Yeah.
But, they still have their big three. They still have who's going to be there when it matters the very most. So I'm not super concerned about their title odds. Hopefully he can get back in time for the playoffs.
Okay, yeah, we'll keep an eye on that. This is a fun one. It's an interesting one. So Mark Stein reports a rumor that is making the rounds in coaching circles. This is the first rumor that we've had in headliners since we started doing this. The rumor is that Daryl Morey, Phillies GM, might possibly fire Doc Rivers and replace him with Mike D'Antoni. Now, I will say, reporting came out They checked in with the front office, asked about this. It was quickly shut down. Take that with whatever you will. I don't think there's too much face value you can take from front offices in the NBA, but what are you thinking about this? What is your take on this?
My first thought is that this came from Mark Stein, so it came from good news. Like, this guy does not miss. He doesn't put out information that's bad. He's one of the best reporters in the business, has a fantastic Substack that always gives out great information. So I believe this rumor that people around the team are saying this. Maybe it's not Daryl Morey directly, but I believe that there is some traction here. And with, of course, Daryl Morey making the high-risk trade for James Harden, it, of course, puts Doc Rivers on the hot seat. And, of course, being reunited with someone that he trusts, not only James Harden trusts, but that Daryl Morey trusts in Mike D'Antoni, makes a lot of sense.
So my question is this. If this is true, let's say this plays out and it happens. We're obviously seeing Daryl Morey play to a lot of loyalty that he had with his circle in Houston, getting James Harden. And then, if this happens, bringing back Mike D'Antoni. Does it create any kind of anxiety or unease inside that locker room if you're not one of D'Antoni's former guys?
I think that's a very fair question, but this isn't the same Philly team, right? Like, this isn't the process team. Really, the only player left from them is Joel Embiid. And I think Daryl Morey, in his short time there, has shown enough that, like, hey, they didn't have Ben Simmons for the year and they still played really well, and he found a way to keep this team moving and acquire James Harden. So I think the team probably trusts what Daryl's doing here. And so I don't think it's going to be that big from that perspective, but Doc Rivers is a beloved coach in this league. So we don't know what the ramifications will be if that were to happen, but I think there's some smoke here.
Wow.
How about that?
I mean, that would be huge shockwaves if that happens.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get here to LA, where LeBron James breaks the NBA all-time scoring record, passing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Now, this scoring record is postseason and regular season combined.
Right.
Is this legit? Because there's been a big conversation after this happened that it's a regular season only record that you should be paying attention to. What's your take on this?
My first take is that this is why I hate comparing players from different eras, because when Kareem played, the postseason was set up different. The three-point line wasn't even there when he was there in the beginning. Just circumstances, defensive rules. There's just so many circumstances that add to all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And so, it's a great story that LeBron's gotten here. But what I think this really shows is that, like, LeBron's one of the best scorers in NBA history. Like, the number itself doesn't matter to me as much as being amongst these giants of the game. And he is now amongst those giants of the game. And so I think this is a great accomplishment for LeBron James. I don't know that it means he was a better scorer than Kareem, right? Yeah. And I think, to your point, the regular season is what this award maybe really is all about. Not that it's even an award, but an accomplishment.
Yeah, I'm kind of, I know this is such a grumpy old man, old head take, but it is cool. It is very cool that he has that title now. But in terms of all-time scoring, I do think it should be a regular season only kind of thing. I think the celebration comes when he passes Kareem, which I do think he's going to do. He's only 1,300 points away.
I think we can pretty much guarantee
he will do it. I have no doubt in my mind that that's going to happen. But I think that's the one that is going to get celebrated. And I say that because it just feels like these records are being created with all these different rules. I was even bothered a little bit with the Warriors win streak counting over 2 seasons, right? Because they ended the win streak at the end of the regular season. They picked it up at the beginning of the next regular season. It just feels like, let's keep this just a little bit traditional, and let's keep it to regular season, single season, whatever. But I do think he's going to do it. I just don't think right now was the time to celebrate.
Yeah, I totally get that. It will be celebrated a lot more when that does happen. But I think this is equally as important of an accomplishment for him, because it shows, like I said, whether or not he is the scoring champion, it shows he's one of the best scorers of all time.
Hands
this
down,
absolutely proves it unequivocally. So it's a great little notch in his belt.
Absolutely. Okay, last one here. Chicago Bulls, Zach LaVine, going to LA to see a specialist for his left knee, which has been giving him some on-again, off-again trouble this season. Now, he has said that he will be participating in All-Star Weekend. What does this mean moving forward for the Bulls?
I'm very worried about this.
Okay.
I'm very worried about this because he sat out a couple games earlier in the month. He came back. Now he's sitting out again. Now he's seeing a specialist. Now he says he wants to play again. I think the Bulls' probably best course of action here is to shut down Zach LaVine. And I don't know how long that's for, but whatever the doctors say it's for, and I'll tell you why. He's 26 years old. We act like Zach LaVine is 30. He's not. He's up for a 5-year extension, the exact years that you want to lock up a player of his caliber for.
Yeah.
Him getting injured this season would be so much worse for the Bulls long term than anything they could do this season, in my opinion. They got to treat this very seriously and with kid gloves, in my opinion.
That is such a tough call to make, shutting him down. Look, I think that you go for it even if you have Zach LaVine at 80%. I think if the doctor says, hey, there's no tear, he can play, it might be uncomfortable, he might not be 100%, but he can play basketball, I think you have to go for it. I think the East is as wide open as it's going to be for the Bulls. And if you have even a monochrome out there that could take you to the finals and possibly win a championship, you have to go for it. I mean, look, the Nets are all over the place and not very good right now. The Bucks have had some up and down moments this season. Philly is yet to be seen. The Cavs, a fun story, but I don't think you're looking at them as standing in your way. I think that you have to, this is it. Like, you have to go for it.
I totally disagree with this. I think that their future is Zach LaVine. Like, they have DeMar DeRozan locked up for 3 years, but they just committed to Lonzo Ball. They're going to commit 5 years to Zach LaVine. Their future is so much more important than this season, in my opinion. And having Zach LaVine healthy and ready to go long term, that is what's going to decide the overall success of this experiment in Chicago, in my opinion. So whatever it means to keep Zach LaVine healthy, that's what they should be doing, in my opinion.
Yeah, I just think that you could ask Miami, you could ask the Lakers.
I don't think
you could
80% Zach LaVine is getting you over the top of almost any of those teams. I think if you are going to have a chance, it's going to be with a fully healthy roster, a fully healthy Zach LaVine, and years of runs to come.
That's fair, but you're also banking on the fact that these people are going to be healthy for the next postseason. And I just think that if you've got a chance, you got to go for it.
All right. Well, we disagree on that one, but we have something that isn't being talked about enough. I know you have something for us here. Underground Network.
There's a little link to Zach LaVine here.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about Zach LaVine's former team, and it's the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Ooh, I love it.
This week on Underground Network, there were a couple storylines that I was going towards. This one I couldn't get past, and I don't think that the Wolves are getting enough credit for the step that they've taken this year, and they're kind of flying under the radar. So there's a couple things I want to highlight here, and I'm not a fan of being the big stats guy, but there's some stuff here to prove my point, right?
Yeah.
So I think the easiest or the biggest criticism of the Wolves is that they aren't very good defensively. Currently on the season, they are literally middle of the pack. No pun intended. They are, like, I think 15th or 16th. They are at exact middle for defensive rating. Mm-hmm. But with that said, they're third in blocks per game. They're fifth in steals per game. And I think the reason why their defense is where it is because Patrick Beverley hasn't been available for the entire season. When you look at the defensive rating, when Patrick Beverley is in that starting unit, that defensive rating would get them in a top 10 defense. It's like they're allowing 101 points per 100 possessions or something like that.
Yeah.
They are a good defense when he's playing. Now, on the other side of that, they are a monster offensively. So on the season, they're top 10 offense in the NBA. If you look at the last 10 games, they are the number one offense in the league currently.
Wow. Yeah.
They are just scoring at will right now. And it's being led by a guy named Anthony Edwards, who will take another step down. I think alone could be the Underground Network because he's not really getting enough attention for what he's doing. On Sunday, just a couple days ago, he put up 37, 5, 4 steals on 7 of 13 shooting from deep. Now, there's an account called StatMuse that you and I know about. A lot of people probably are aware of this, but they do a lot of stats tracking and those types of things. They said that that game was his 5th game of 35 or more points with 5 or more threes made. There's only one player to have more games like that before the age of 21, and it's Luka Doncic.
Wow.
Luka is a guy that is being kind of groomed to be the face of the league moving forward. They're really pushing Luka. And look, Luka's incredible. I'm not taking anything away from him. But I think that we need to start looking at Anthony Edwards as possibly getting on that same level. And he's young. I just said under 21. Dude, he's younger than Evan Mobley, Jalen Suggs, and Scotty Barnes, and he's less than 2 months older than Cade Cunningham. It feels like he's been in the league forever. You think he's an older player. Wow. That got you.
Yeah, I had to cough from that one.
It is shocking. He is this good at this age. The future is wide open for him. And if they can get Patrick Beverley healthy, if they can go into the playoffs as a healthy team, dude, I think that they could be a real issue for some teams and surprise some people in the postseason.
Yeah, this is a really fun story. I'm so glad this is who you brought to the Underground Network today, because I think the Wolves are my number 1 League Pass team this year.
Okay.
I've probably watched them the most outside of the LA teams. Extremely fun. What I've noticed about them recently is they're playing a lot of really great team basketball. Like you mentioned, Patrick Beverley has added a ton to this team, but also guys like Jaden McDaniels and Naz Reid and these other guys who have played really well, come into bench roles, played really well, kept the team afloat, kept them moving at times. It's a really good, but of course, the overall thing that's going to get them to the level they want to go to, it's Anthony Edwards. And I'm going to say something that might sound hot takey, but I really do believe this.
Lean into it.
He has a chance to be the best player in the NBA.
Wow.
Now, I'm not saying he's going to get there. I don't know. None of us know. He's super young, right? He's 20 years old. He's shown a ton.
Yeah.
But he's bigger, stronger, faster, more skilled than anyone at his position. He might be the most unguardable wing in the entire NBA right now. When he's hitting his shots and playing within himself, he's as good as it gets, really. Like that is the highest level that there is to achieve. It's all about consistency for him.
Yeah.
So can the Wolves get into the playoffs? Can he put up some of these games of 35 points, 7 threes in the playoffs on the biggest stage and prove to people? Then I think he's going to get a lot more light shined on him. The team is going to get a lot more light shined on them. And also I think it puts Karl Towns in his rightful position as the number 2. I think we kind of saw this last year with Anthony Edwards sort of taking over the team. Now it really feels like this is Anthony Edwards' team.
Yeah.
And I think it brings a big burden off of Karl Towns, right? And what we saw at Kentucky was this amazing defender. I think we're starting to see a little more of that because he doesn't have as much pressure to score every time, be the whole engine of the offense. They have plenty of offense around him.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to make him a better player, puts him in the perfect position where he doesn't have to carry this team moving forward. Super high on the Timberwolves.
If Anthony Edwards was on a coastal team, do you think he would be getting the same coverage and grooming to be a face of the league that Luka Doncic is getting?
Absolutely, yeah. I think
he's got the character and the charisma, right?
Yes, it's the Wolves' reputation right now that is, I think, stopping him from being that guy. I think also, he was a high risk prospect coming out of college. We saw very similar things from him of like a guy like Cam Reddish in the NBA where he had every physical tool you could possibly want, bigger, stronger, faster than everybody, but just consistently can't put it together.
Yeah.
But Anthony Edwards in the NBA has been what we hoped he could be, which is he has taken all those tools, he's gotten better, and he's continuing to get better. So I have a lot more faith in someone like him. And yeah, if they get into the playoffs and he puts up some of these performances, I think it's going to take away some of that, I guess, Minnesota's stink, we'll call it, right? A little that away. Chris Finch is doing a really good job. So just shout out to the whole team right now. I'm really stoked. Really
Super
good
fun.
story.
Super fun, very under the radar basketball. That offense is so potent right now.
Yeah,
It's
they're
unreal.
legitimately a good team.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's check in on the good teams and the bad teams and out of step. This is where we bring relegation to the NBA. In my opinion, the greatest concept in professional sports. So we've done this a couple times. We've broken it down into 3 leagues. You've got the NBA, cream of the crop. And then you've got the serviceable tea league.
Yes.
Because we're sticking to the beverage theme here. Nobody's putting up a fight when they get the tea.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not really...
You're not blowing us away, but you know you're good.
It's a decent Earl Grey.
Yeah.
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 And then at the bottom, the Clamato League.
Disgusting.
It's just warm Clamato on a hot summer day down there. So here's the breakdown of where these teams were the last time we played this.
Yeah.
We've put them in alphabetical order to avoid any confusion because in Out of Step, relegation is not based solely on record.
That's right.
We're looking at recent games. We're thinking about potential future. We're factoring in more than just your wins and losses.
Yep.
So to avoid any confusion on that, in no particular order other than alphabetical, here's the breakdown. I'm going to go through each league. We're going to figure out who's safe, who's moving up, who's moving down.
Yep.
We're going to start in the NBA. So that's the big show. The Bucks.
Safe.
Safe. Fair enough. The Bulls.
Safe.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm keeping an eye on them, of course, with the Zach LaVine injury. They may be moving out, but safe for now.
Okay. The Cavs.
Safe.
Yeah. Grizzlies.
Very safe.
Are they the safest team in the NBA?
No, but they're one of the top 3.
Definitely. The Heat.
Very safe.
Very
also.
safe.
Yeah.
This one's interesting. The Dallas Mavericks.
Safe.
Okay.
I don't think they've done enough to move out. We're going to see what the Kristaps Porzingis-less Mavs look like. A lot more small ball. And as a friend said to me, I'm looking forward to a possible Bertanaissance.
Ooh, I like that. I really like that.
You like that?
Yeah. And if you want to see what the Mavs look like without KP, you could just watch the last 2 years of their playoff run and figure that one out.
Yeah, Kleba playing well too.
Yeah.
Finney Smith playing well. Like they're good.
The front office believes in their fours a lot.
They do, yeah.
Okay, so now that takes us to the Denver Nuggets. I think this is an interesting one.
It is. I have them moving out because we have a team moving in later. You know, it's not much their fault. I think they've been a T-League team basically all season. A hot streak got them into the NBA. Yeah. They're 500 against the West this season. That's about where they are.
Yeah, that's fair. This was a hard one for me, but
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm moving the Nuggets down, and for me, it's less an indictment on the Nuggets, who have been a great story, have really done well considering the injuries that they're dealing with right now this season, and more so to do with how well another team is playing that I think just really deserves a spot in the NBA. Unfortunately, in Out of Step, if a team goes up, a team comes down.
Yep.
Sixers.
I got them staying in. They just acquired James Harden,
who is not playing for another week or two.
Yeah, but they have Joel Embiid too, so
fair enough.
I got
okay.
them in.
The Suns.
They're the most safe team in the NBA.
Wait, you still have them in the NBA?
Yeah, I've got them in.
Yeah, they are firmly sitting in the NBA. And then finally, the Warriors.
Of course, staying in the NBA as well.
They've been Kuminga. Man,
ooh, yeah.
What a story.
Love Kuminga. Holy cow.
Yeah, the internet was going nuts the other night. He looked great.
He is so freaking athletic.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, loving it. Okay. Well, let's check out the T-League. The Blazers.
Surprisingly, their front office, who's maybe run by some guy named Cronin, but we don't really know, tried really hard to get them into the C-League.
Cronin is such a double agent spy name.
Yeah, it's so easy to be like, oh no, it wasn't Cronin. No, it was never that guy. They tried really hard to get them into the C-League. The Vibes, Justice Winslow, and Anthony Simons, they kept him in the T. I love it. I'm loving the story right now.
Yeah, they are catching teams off guard. I think that they're the trap team right now. Post deadline, I think teams are looking at them as not that serious. But Anthony Simons and Justice Winslow have quickly become the best duo in the NBA, and they are keeping them there. But we'll see what Kaiser Cronin has to say about it.
I love that.
And how they move forward. Okay, next is the Celtics.
The Celtics, that's the team. Okay, look.
Mm-hmm,
Last time we did this, I made fun of you for trying to move them up.
I was mocked. I was scoffed at.
You were mocked by me. That's fair. I got them moving up. They've continued their good play. They made a nice trade to get a good player in Derek White back. Looks like a nice fit on the team. The Celtics have kept it up, and they've earned their spot in the NBA.
Yeah, good play. I'm going to give you a bigger slice of humble pie and say it's been great play.
Okay, yeah.
In the last 10 games, they have the best defense in the NBA by a mile. Nobody else is close to them. They're holding teams to under 90 points per 100 possessions right now in the last 10 games. They have been so good, 9-1 in the last 10, currently on an 8-game winning streak. They've got the best net rating in the Eastern Conference. They have a winning record in their conference. And this is a bit of a petty move for me, too, because you sent me an article after the trade deadline from a blogger who covers the Celtics, who said that the Derek White trade was a disaster and outlined how this was like truly the beginning of a complete crumble and fall for Boston.
Yeah.
And I couldn't disagree more with that take. So not only do they earn their spot in the NBA, they are getting a spite promotion out of me because of that article that was written.
That article was so poorly written and brought up such bizarre points. Derek White is so much better than Josh Richardson. It's not even close.
Unhinged.
But I love the hot takey nature of it. Keep doing you, whoever that blogger is. That was insane.
You got a future here. Okay, moving on. We got the Clippers.
I think they're the most T-League team in the entire NBA.
Really?
They are a 500 team. They've remained a 500 team. Doesn't matter who comes in, who goes out. Somehow they find a way to stay around 500.
I think that they have a shaky future. I mean, it just came out in the last couple days that newly acquired Norman Powell, who was great in his 3 games after being traded to the Clippers, is out indefinitely with a broken bone in his foot. I think with the assets that they gave up, the moves that they made, they became a better team. But now that he's out, I think this is the least talented roster that they've had since the beginning of the season. I think this is the shakiest it could possibly get for them on a schedule looking forward full of teams well above 500. So I'm interested. You're right. They've been totally punching above their belt, considering being down 2 stars. I don't know. I think it gets shaky for them.
It could come to an end here, but Ty Lue has shown that you give him a group. He's done a good job of keeping them in that 500 range. So we'll see.
Fair enough. Yeah. All right. We got the Hawks next.
I don't get this team. Oh, I want them to be in the NBA so bad, but they just never can do it. I do think they need to move on from some players to give some other players more opportunity. I don't know if it's their season. They're a T-League team.
Okay. T-League. I agree with that. Hornets.
The Hornets said, fuck defense. We're getting Montrezl Harrell.
We're playing T-fence.
They reunited Terry Rozier and Trez together, my Louisville boys. I'm loving it. The vibes are high. They're a T-League team. Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. Terry Rozier almost was my pick for Underground Network because he has been so good the last handful of games. He is definitely in the middle of some kind of resurgence. But yeah, they are... Without defense, they are a T-League team.
Yeah, I think getting those two back together was underrated, not talked about enough at the trade, right? Like 2 guys who love playing together. Seems like LaMelo loves him right away too. So good vibes there.
Yeah, fair enough. But I could probably dunk on that team. Okay, so next we've got the Utah Jazz.
I hate watching this team, but I guess they're a T-League team.
Yeah, they are T-League. There is storms brewing in that locker room. Reports of, the 2 stars still not getting along. I've got an eye on the Jazz because something is happening there.
Yeah.
The Knicks.
Move them down. They're out.
Relegating the Knicks.
This team stinks. This team stinks. Like, I hate watching them. The low point of their season, blowing the 23-point lead to Justice Winslow's Blazers.
Yeah.
Yikes. Tom Thibodeau is definitely on the hot seat. Ugh. They're out.
Okay. Down to the C League.
They're out.
Lakers.
So close to out.
Yeah.
So close to out.
Yeah.
But they have a lot of talent. They've shown a little bit of life recently. They had that decent game versus the Warriors the other day. They're in for now.
That Warriors game made me laugh because you're right. It was a close game. They were playing it close. They were down 2. LeBron gets the ball. Curry goes to foul him. Whether you think the call was questionable or not, the call on the floor was that he was in the shooting motion from 3. He was getting 3 free throws. Everybody's freaking out. Everybody's like, no, it was before the shot. How could you do this? And in my head, I was just thinking, if the Warriors had just watched the last episode of The Alternates, they would have known how bad this team has been lately at shooting free throws. And LeBron specifically is shooting under 70% from the line. Where was the faith that he was going to hit all 3 of those?
Yeah.
I knew instantly that it wasn't going to happen.
And the first one, it was the first one. The first one immediately clanks it. And it's like, well, there goes the game.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But they are close, but I'm with you. They're in the T League.
Okay.
Nets.
Okay.
Do it.
I have them staying in.
Oh my God. I want to relegate this team. I want to relegate this team as hard as everybody in the beginning of this episode hit the like button on the video. I am so fucking done with the Nets right now.
Yeah.
It is pathetic. Absolutely pathetic.
I completely understand. As we record, they are on a 11-game losing streak.
And Kyrie has played some of those games. In fact, he played like 5 of them.
No, they're playing really bad. Like there's no question, but they've just banked enough wins for me to stay here. It would be really tough for me to pull a team out of the sea for them. But they are hanging on a cliff. They're like 1 loss away from being out for me.
Dude, if you look at the last week or two, the Pistons, the Thunder, the Magic are all playing better basketball than the Nets.
Right. And look, I completely understand that. But the reality is the best of those teams you said has like 13 wins. It's just not enough for me yet.
Okay.
Those teams have really played better than them the last week, but we'll see post-trade deadline. I don't know. I can't quite put them in there yet.
Okay. I'll let you keep them in the T League because I like you.
Okay.
Next, we got the Pelicans.
I got the Pelicans staying in the T League.
Yeah.
Playing pretty well. They
Fun
got
team.
CJ. I like their chances to stay in the T League too.
Okay, yeah, I'm with you. Raptors.
Ooh, and I really wanted to move this team into the NBA.
They're
Let me
close.
tell you, I really wanted to. But another case of there wasn't a team that I felt like could be moved out for them, but shooting up the rankings of the T League, playing super well right now, super fun watch, all about the Raptors, but they're in the T League.
I think that in out of step, the Raptors are making the Mavs sweat a little bit because they're neck and neck right now for me in terms of how good they are, how good they've been.
Yeah, they have beat a lot of poor teams, let's say, in the last 2 weeks. So we'll see moving forward, but playing really well.
Definitely. Okay. Spurs.
Love this team's future, love the way they're playing, but they're a T League team.
Fair enough. Wizards.
I would love to put them in the C League, but there's no spot for them, so they're in the T League.
Clamato Watch 2022.
Clamato Watch big time.
And then closing out the T League, we've got the Wolves.
As we just gave their case, they're playing really well. Just a great T League team.
Yeah. Best T League team? Questionable.
Ooh, yeah. Top
They're
two.
high T for sure.
Top 2, top 3 T League team, definitely.
All right. Now let's dip our toes into the pool of Clamato here. The Kings.
Put them in.
Yes.
They made the trade. I loved it. I loved what they're doing. The vibes are high. Sabonis looks great. He looks happy as hell. The Fox and Mitchell backcourt looks really good. The Kings are in. I'm loving it. I'm
Royalty.
loving it. Loving it.
The excitement is just, it's infectious. Okay, I'm so happy that we got the Kings in the T League.
I love it.
They earned it. They deserve it. The Magic. My Magic.
Playing okay recently, right? 4-6 in their last 10, but as I said, 13 wins on the season just isn't going to get you there. But we'll see.
We will see. I'm going to tell you this right now. If Cole Anthony wins the dunk contest, I am putting them in and taking the Nets out. They are getting in the T League over the Nets. I want to take the fucking Nets out so bad because I'm so disturbed by how bad they've been playing. And my love for the Magic is that great. But yeah, okay. I'll leave them in the C League.
The Magic are weirdly on T-Watch.
Yeah.
How about that?
Yeah.
For
okay,
a 13-win team, they're on T-Watch.
Put it on a t-shirt. All right, next we got the Pacers.
They're in the C still, but it's just so many injuries. Many injuries. It's like they just can't get a break with it. But Halliburton had a crazy assist game the other day, like 16 assists or something nuts. So good for them. Playing well in the C League, which is probably where they want to be.
Sure. Pistons.
C. That's just their roster, but I like the way they're playing too.
Okay. The Rockets.
Yeah, they're still in the Clamato Arena. They're still playing like the Rockets. They're deep C team.
yeah, deep C. That's good. All right, and then finally the Thunder.
The Thunder are also a C League team, but man, considering the talent on this team at times, they play so much better than they should. So
Yeah.
a pretty fun watch for a C team.
So if I can take my magic goggles off for a second, this would be the team I would replace the Nets with if they drop. They've been not great, but they've been okay lately, and okay is good enough to get you in the T League. So
Right. I mean, again, 3-7 in their last 10, lost 5 in a row. But like I said, with this roster, it's amazing that they're as competitive as they are.
no, they have Lou Dort. It's not amazing. It's understandable. Okay, so this is the breakdown now. This is the new breakdown of the 3 leagues that we have. Some movement this week. We had the Nuggets moving down to make room for the Celtics, who are now in the NBA. Nuggets relegated down to the T League. In the T League, we had, like I said, the Celtics moving up. You've got the Knicks going down into the C League.
Yeah.
I am prepared to put the entire state of New York in the C League, but the Nets stay safe. The Knicks move down, and they are replaced by the Sacramento Kings.
Ooh, Sacktown up. I love it.
This is fun. So we'll come back in a couple weeks when we get a bigger sample size of post-deadline teams, post-all-star teams, and see where everybody lands, see how the chips fall. But there's definitely some teams on the watch here that might be moving up or down.
Yeah, big time.
So I'm excited. That leaves us with one place to go. It's Duo Jam time, baby.
Love it.
So last week in Duo Jam, we had the Boston Celtics versus the Toronto Raptors, two very hot teams in the
surging
East.
Eastern Conference.
Yeah. So I picked Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown as my duo. Jason Tatum put up 141.2 points. Jaylen Brown put up 99.6 points. And I said when we were picking our duos, I was, I went with my heart because I love Jaylen Brown, but I was like, oh, maybe Robert Williams, he's been playing better. He did have a better week in fantasy, but was outplayed by neither of those guys. It was Marcus Smart.
Oh.
Marcus Smart had a huge week.
Wow.
Having said that, I ended the week with 240.8 fantasy points in Duo Jam with the Celtics. You picked the Raptors. You had Fred VanVleet. He put up 71.5 fantasy points.
Really disappointed in my guy, Fred.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened. Very disappointed in Fred.
And then another pick that you struggled with, but ultimately went with your heart, in Scotty Barnes. And he had 85.3 fantasy points. You ended the week with 156.8. I get my second win of the season here.
Yep.
And you can't blame this one on me giving you the Nets or anything like that. I fucking earned this win.
No, you're right. And when we left on the way home, I thought, what the fuck am I thinking? Gary Trent Jr. has been on fire for this team. How could I possibly not pick Gary Trent? I didn't, and it may have cost me.
It definitely cost you. I looked it up. If you had picked Pascal Siakam and Gary Trent Jr., you would have beat me.
Yeah, Gary's on a... What? Okay.
If I had picked Marcus Smart and you picked those two guys, you still would have beat me.
I know we got to go, but what's Gary Trent Jr.'s ceiling?
Yet to be found.
I agree.
Yeah.
He's showing some stuff.
All right, so let's get into this week's Duo Jam. It's the Hornets versus the Pelicans. I like this matchup. I think this is, let's call this the League Pass matchup.
Yeah, I like that.
These are two fun teams.
League Pass South.
League Pass South. That's
like
good.
That?
That's great. Okay, so I'm going to pick the Pelicans this week.
Your Pelicans. That's they're your Pelicans.
I wouldn't go that far.
Okay.
They're my Pelicans this week. I'm picking a new face. CJ McCollum. It's yet to be seen exactly how he's fitting in with this roster.
You loved the trade.
Love the trade. Love the potential of it. I believe in my guy. I'm going with CJ. And if I got to be super transparent here, I looked at it. They're playing the Grizzlies, and I was like, ooh, that team is a nightmare for anybody in fantasy. I looked it up. CJ McCollum has actually played really well against the Grizzlies. So I'm going with CJ, and I'm pairing him with the big. Jonas Valanciunas That's my guy. I love Jonas Valanciunas.
Rocking the Al Pacino and Heat haircut big time.
Absolutely. Raptors legend, Jonas. JV and CJ. That's my duo jam this week. I believe they're going to get me to 500. That leaves you with the Hornets. Who are you taking?
First of all, you have made a big mistake not choosing Brandon Ingram. I
thought about
very
it.
disturbed by that.
I thought about
by
it.
not choosing him.
Struggling currently.
We'll see.
Yeah.
I'm choosing the Hornets. You know I love the Hornets. And what I love about my choice this week is that this one I actually would choose as the NBA Jam duo. Like if I were setting the 2022 NBA Jam coming out, I got to set the Hornets 2. I'm going with LaMelo Ball and Miles Bridges. They play off each other perfectly. They complement each other super well. LaMelo obviously is a stat god. And when Miles Bridges is going, he's tough to beat. So I like these two.
So this is your straight up game aside. This is the Hornets duo.
Yep. Game aside, I think that they would be an awesome NBA Jam duo. The lobs, the threes, like they're kind of perfect for the game.
Yeah. No, you're right. I got to make an argument here.
Okay.
Miles Bridges, I get. I would probably put Plumlee in for LaMelo Ball. In fact, do you want to? You can make your change right now. Do you want that to be your duo for the week?
They lost Vernon Carey, right?
Yeah.
No, I'm going to stick with LaMelo and Miles Bridges.
Okay, well, we'll see where we land at the end of this week. Only 2 games because we got the All-Star weekend coming up.
Okay.
But that is going to be it for today's show. Thank you so much for joining us. We will be back Friday with headliners. We're also going to be doing something a little special for Friday's episode.
Yep.
We're going to be picking the Alt-Stars.
Breaking news.
We get 5 starters and a 6-man. So we will be picking Alt-Stars on Friday's episode. And then we've got All-Star Bet Brains. I am very excited to see what lines you're setting for me for the All-Star Weekend games. Don't forget to hit subscribe to the channel, to the show, to the podcast. Share with everybody. That helps us out so much. Most importantly, be kind to yourselves, be kind to others. And on that note, I'm going to leave us with a very positive song here.
Okay.
From a band called Panacea. The song is called Lost off of their 2009 Humanity is Headed for Nowhere on Sadness of Noise Records. Great song. It's an absolute ripper. And I know it's funny, everything I just said is not positive at all.
Yeah, I was going to say, humanity is heading for nowhere. It's so positive.
There are some positive lyrics in here
yeah.
that remind me to just get up and try every day. So
I love that.
We're going to leave you with that. We will see you all Friday. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
What's the play? Right away,